evolution of this investment in India. So how evolution of this investment happened? In year 1951, there was first Constitutional Amendment Act. It paved the path for the disinvestment by the government agency by making First Amendment Act of 1951. First Amendment Act of 1951, nationalization of private firms. Then under the Air Corporation Act 1953, airlines were nationalized. That was Tata's first airline, Air India, which was nationalized by the government of India and taken under the government sector by making it a PSU. So Air India International was nationalized. Then it was followed by nationalization of Life Insurance Corporation by making LIC Act of 1952. LIC Act of 1956. LIC was nationalized in order to provide insurance. Then again through General Insurance Business Act, GIB Act of 1972, nationalization of insurance business, 55 Indian companies and 52 foreign companies. So how much Indian companies? 55 and foreign companies 52 in numbers were nationalized. Again in the year 1969, when there was Indira Gandhi government, there was a banking act which was made for the private sector bank to get nationalized under the government of India. So nationalization of 14 banks held in 1969 under the Banking Companies Acquisition and Transfer of Undertaking Act. Banking Companies Acquisition and Transfer of Undertaking Act 1970, which leads to nationalization of 14 banks. And the term disinvestment was used first time in the budget of 1991. So 1991 में first time budget लाया गया जिसमें कि disinvestment word was used by the Manmohan Singh, which was then Finance Minister of Government of India, who provided liberalization, privatization, globalization. That was the greatest leap in 1991, called as LPG reforms, which paved the path of strategic disinvestment. Now, after 2014, the disinvestment was taken as a policy step by sales in public sector enterprises. 2014 के बाद पब्लिक सेक्टर एंटरप्राइजेस की बिडिंग होनी शुरू होगी, सेलिंग होनी शुरू होगी in share market, and the best expenditure for disinvestment proceeds 2021 was fixed to 1,75,000 crores, 1,75,000 करोड़ तक का टारगेट रखा गया है डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट के लिए for this budget year. Remember this data for your prelims as well as mains point of view. Very important. Now, asset monetization. What is asset monetization, friends? The process of monetizing of the non-movable and movable properties, goods, capital, in terms of providing more impetus in terms of their budget, as well as monetization put by funding and financing those assets, is called as asset monetization. So, NIP, National Infrastructure Pipeline, NIP was used to projected infrastructure investment of rupees 111 lakh crores, 111 लाख करोड़ का इन्वेस्टमेंट किया गया है through NIP, National Infrastructure Pipeline Module. ये क्या कर रहा है friends? It emphasizes this serve as essential roadmap for asset monetization of brownfield infrastructure assets. Which infrastructure assets? Brownfield infrastructure. ब्राउनफील्ड इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर्स के लिए NIT ने फंडिंग की है. Then NMP also provides the baseline for the projects which are under the ministries to monitor and track the performance. तो यहाँ पे क्या की जा रही है? Monitoring and tracking of performance. Of potential assets. Okay. Next is trends in expenditure. So expenditure, we are making a good leap in this budget, and economy survey also discussed the expenditure policy during the pandemic in terms of prioritization of expenditure, which saw according to evolution situation. जैसे ही first wave खत्म हुई, there was again expenditure, and there was second wave, again lockdown. So year on year growth in expenditure saw 30% in the revenue expenditure of the government in 2021-2022. Then decline in the salaries. We saw that the salaries of the government officials as well as private officials were curtailed to a certain level in order to rationalize the expenditure. So salaries were curtailed. So it was declined in 2021 and was largely freezing of the additional dearness allowance. DA में काफी reduction पाया गया. So there was no DA to government employees in post COVID-2 scenario. DA को curtail कर दिया गया. जो कहीं पे ट्रैवलिंग या आने जाने में खर्चा होता था गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉयज को एज वेल एज प्राइवेट सेक्टर एम्प्लॉयज, सो DA और TA में curtailment कर दिया गया. And there was disruptions in employees, employment as well as hirings. तो hiring भी बंद हो गई थी, employment भी बंद हो गए थे. There was huge decline in overall economic activity, which sought a various range of declination of DA, TA, hiring as well as employment of the people in various sectors. Now going to the next, we saw financial 15 reports which award to the transfer of states how much fund was awarded. So post devolution revenue deficit grants are provided to the states under Article 275 of the Constitution of India. Remember Article 275 of the Constitution of India, which provide grants to states by Finance Commission. 15. Now 15 Finance Commission has recommended post-development revenue around 1.18 lakh crores to 17 states under the financial year 2021 and 2022. Remember this data for your prelims as well as mains. With regard to the grant of local bodies such as Panchayati Raj institutions, PRIs, and urban local bodies, municipalities and nagar nigams, we are all considered into it. Panchayati Raj institutions. So financial 15th Finance Commission has recommended that urban areas are grouped into broad categories for recommending grants, and category 1 cities, so there were categorization under category 1 and category 2. So इस प्रकार का क्लासिफिकेशन किया गया 15th Finance Commission के द्वारा, which contributed in urban cities, the urban agglomerations with more than 1 million population. 1 million से ज़्यादा population जहाँ पे रहेगी वहाँ पे क्या होगा, कैटेगरी 1 cities में रखा जाएगा, and there is different slab structure than category 2 cities other than 1 million plus population. 1 million से ज़्यादा की जहाँ पे जनसंख्या रहेगी वो कैटेगरी 2 cities है. 1 million तक population में category 1 cities है. So Finance Commission allotted money in terms of category 1 cities which are having certain structures, infrastructure local bodies as well as urban bodies. Second category is the cities which are smart cities, which are having higher population growth, higher consumption pattern, higher expenditure patterns. तो उनके लिए अलग से ग्रांट निर्धारित किए गए थे. Now, measures taken by the center to support the states during 2021 enhanced limit of borrowing for the states under the Atmanirbhar Bharat package. What we saw, Atmanirbhar Bharat Yojana. So Atmanirbhar Bharat package was there, and it has 2% of GSDP. How much was it? 2% of GSDP. So again, 1% of GSDP was subjected to implementation of specific states, firms, reforms and weightage reforms is 0.25% of GSDP. Please remember it that 0.25% of gross state domestic product was added under these measures. Then implementation of Atmanirbhar Bharat Yojana, under which one nation, one ration card scheme was added. That is one nation, one ration card. Card to avail financial inclusion of various vulnerable sections. Ease of doing business reforms. Remember these points. Ease of doing business reforms. In order to establish any business, availability of land, availability of permit, electricity, resources, raw materials, getting permit, then all the 11 parameters under ease of doing business were under this. And urban local body utility was under reform which were taken into consideration. Then another reform was power sector reforms. So power sector reforms in terms of various thermal power plants, solar power plants, and this thermal hydropower plants as well as the other plants run by solar energy were taken under consideration. Net borrowing of states from year on year from 2021-2022 has been fixed to rupees 8,46,000 crores, 4% of GSDP. The highest contribution, 4% of GSDP. That is 4% of gross state domestic product was 8,46,000 crores. So remember this very important data for your prelims as well as mains point of view. It is very important. कैसे बोरिंग बढ़ाई जा रही है और आत्मनिर्भर भारत कैसे इम्प्लीमेंट हो रहा है. Now, loans to state in lieu of GST compensation, which was under shortfall. So, in order to meet the shortfall of GST compensation, goods and service tax compensation, states को क्या किया गया, कुछ liability, कुछ gap provide की गई जिससे उन्हें थोड़ा सा relaxation मिल गया. The state were under certain relaxation in order to collect the GST, and the policies were liberalized so that the companies which are not meeting the deadlines are able to get their total revenue share on the time, and they are able to pay the taxes. So it avails the availability of paying the taxes under GST. So we saw again highest range of collection of taxes under GST regime, which was around 30% of the total tax collected by the government under financial year 2020-2021, again in 2021-2022. Now, we saw the government of India has special borrowing of special window for the various sectors of economy which were struggling in terms of MSMEs and small industries. The aforesaid borrowing arrangement was extended to the current financial year, raised to the highest level. यानी कि जैसे जैसे इन्वेस्टमेंट बढ़ रहा था, सेकेंड लॉकडाउन खत्म हुआ, इंडस्ट्रीज को और ज़्यादा इम्पेटस देने के लिए और ज़्यादा फंड्स अवेलेबिलिटी की गई by making आत्मनिर्भर भारत योजना and putting more and more funds in the पढ़ रहे थे. Now the next which shows the special assistance to the states for capital expenditure. What is capital expenditure? The long-term expenditure by the government is called as capital expenditure in making assets and generation of good business. So that was approved wherein special assistance was provided of around 11,830 to the state governments in the form of 50 years of interest free loans, यानी कि वैसे लोन जिनके अब इंटरेस्ट नहीं लिए जाएंगे, that was around 50 years and it has been extended for the next 2020 year 2021-2022 around 10,000 crores 10,000 crore तक उन्हें बढ़ा के ले जाया गया. So we should discuss about government e-marketplace before the functioning of the government, how government e-marketplace help the bidders as well as the policy maker to implement the policies as well as the structuring of the total procedure in a suitable manner. So before application of GEM, invitation of bid was manual. जो निविदाएं हो रही थी किसी भी टेंडर के लिए, किसी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के लिए, तो मैनुअल हो रही थी थ्रू पेपर वर्क्स. As the all new paper comes from one table goes to another table, then fourth table and fifth table and so on. But as GEM applied completely online process, internet based online process, no fiscal consult or take over by any other person. So एक आदमी से ही वो काम खत्म हो जा रहा है through online module और एक आदमी से पेपर सीधे अथॉरिटी तक, then come back to next level. So before GEM, public procurement policy कैसी हो रही थी? It was multiple agencies with multiple procurement guidelines and procedures. बहुत सारे agencies engaged हो रहे थे बहुत सारे procurement policy में और बहुत सारे guidelines में. But after the government e-marketplace, GEM applied single unified fully online public procurement system. That means single unified and online system, one end to the other end directly, whether one contractor applies for a bid and it goes directly to the central government where it decides how to take the decision. Then the third was major method of procurement. So procurement का method कैसे रखा था? Before GEM it was paper based procurement. After GEM contract based, paperless and cashless system with time bound payment and real time monitoring. Now next parameter, method of negotiation and deliberation. Manual negotiation before GEM कैसे हो रहा था ये दोस्तों? Before GEM मैनुअल नेगोशिएशन हो रहे थे. पेपर एक टेबल से दूसरे टेबल जाता था. कॉन्ट्रैक्टर वाज इन द ऑफिस एंड ही वाज नेगोशिएटिंग फॉर हिज बिड, फॉर हिज अपॉर्चुनिटी एंड फॉर हिज सिस्टम टू हैव हिज बिड ऑन द कॉल. बट आफ्टर द GEM the paper was removed and automatic digitization and transparent process was done. Remember it, very very important. It improves the efficiency of the system, it improves the time bound situation and it improves the quality of bidding. And the process of registration of vendors, registration vendor was manual process in paper based before GEM. After GEM, authentication of user done through API integration with the respective domain database.